Good evening, everybody. Welcome to join us tonight for the European Study Talk. As we all know, more and more people are concerned about their career prospects when they are thinking about studying abroad in Europe, and therefore, studying business school in France could be a very, very popular option for now. We have TBS tonight to introduce their program and application for us. Before we move into our session, I'll just remind everybody who joined us tonight for the first time. Whenever you have a questions during the session or after the session, please leave your message and questions in the Q&A function on your Zoom application. All right, so let's welcome caller from TBS. Caller,
Thank you.
session's yours.
All right, perfect. Well, hello, everyone. So I'm Carla from TBS, from the International Admission Team. So I'm going to present to you our three programs, as well as TBS in general. So as you may already know, or for some of you may not, TBS was created in 1903, so in Toulouse, France. So we have over 100 years working in the education field. We also have a very important faculty. So we have 108 resident professors, as well as 100 visiting professors, and 1,200 external practicers, so professors. So you must know that our professors are permanent professors, as I mentioned, as well as professional professors. So it's basically professors people that work in the working field and that come to teach students. So concerning partnering universities, we have over 200 partnerships worldwide, so with universities. We also have 100 double degrees diplomas, which I will talk to you concerning the Master in Management program. So regarding our students, we currently have 5,600 students that go from the bachelor program to the PhD program. And one thing that's very important for us are our alumni. So our alumni are very important. It's students that have already graduated from TBS, and it's nice for us to keep in contact with them. One, for us, especially for the new students that are arriving, so they can have that databases of students that have already passed through TBS. So currently we have 46,000 alumni worldwide and 63 international chapters, so our associations that are directed by TBS alumni. So concerning TBS, so we do have the 3 international accreditations. So we have the AACSB, the EQUIS, and the AMBA accreditation. So you must know that the MBA accreditation is only for our MBA programs, but we wanted to focus on that accreditation and not only keep it for the MBA program, but as well as for all of our programs. So we successfully obtained the AMBA accreditation for all of our programs. So for the bachelor, the master, and the MSc programs. So concerning our campuses, so joining TBS, you'll have a multi-campus experience. You're gonna see that in the details of the programs. And just for a brief presentation, so we have a campus in Barcelona, Casablanca, Paris, and the one here in Toulouse. So throughout these 4 campuses, we have 80 different nationalities. And in our Toulouse campus, 25% of our students are international. So now I'm going to present to you a bit of the Bachelor in Management program. So the Bachelor in Management program is a 3-year program that is normally for students who have just graduated from high school and that obtained their high school diploma. So it starts in September. So this year it's September 2022. It's a 3 years program. It's a full-time program. At the end of the Bachelor in Management, you'll obtain 180 ECTS, so credits. You can choose to do your Bachelor in Management program in English, French, or in Spanish for the Barcelona campus. You must know that the Spanish in the Barcelona campus is only available in the first year. The other 2 years are made in English. So at the end of the Bachelor in Management program, you will have your bachelor degree. So the bachelor degree is a degree recognized by the state, and the price is 31,500 euros for the 3 years. So that's in total. So concerning the Bachelor in Management, so the structure, so here you have the whole structure of the 3 years. So basically the first year is you're going to choose a campus to start with. So you're either going to be able to choose Toulouse, Barcelona, or Casablanca, if you decide to. And the first year is basically what's an introduction to the Bachelor in Management program. So it's learning the common courses such as finance, communication, marketing. It's an introduction for you to know what you're like getting yourself into for the further 2 years. So on the screen, as you may see, in Toulouse, you can be able to do your Bachelor in Management in French or in English, in Barcelona in Spanish or in English, and in Casablanca in French or in English. You must know that at the end of each year, there's an internship. So at the end of the first year, there's an 8 weeks minimum internship. So that's the first year. The second year, we move on to the internationalization part. So you're gonna have to do a semester abroad. It's not mandatory for international students, but we always recommend it to our students because you're gonna be able to study in one of the other campuses for a whole semester or in one of our partner universities. As I mentioned, we have over 200 partner universities in the United States, in Asia, in Latin America, in Europe. So there are a lot of possibilities. So you're gonna have one semester in Toulouse. So it's gonna continue like the main courses. It's no specialization yet. And then a second semester in a partner university or one of our campus, so Barcelona or Casablanca. So as you see underneath, so for Barcelona students, the partner university exchange is only available in the 4th semester, which is the second semester of the second year for us. And the same goes for Casablanca. So at the end of the second year, you're gonna also have a 8 weeks minimum internship to validate your second year. So concerning the third year, then we're starting to specialize. So you're gonna have to choose a specialization. You have specialties going from digital marketing to aviation management to innovation management to hospitality. So you have a wide range, and you're gonna be able to do it in Toulouse if you wish to stay in Toulouse, or you can either choose another campus. So what's good is you're gonna be choosing your specialization, but you can decide to go to another campus, one of our campus, so Barcelona or Casablanca. At the end of the third year, you have an internship, and this time it's 16 weeks minimum. So it's a longer period of internship. And these internships throughout the whole Bachelor in Management program is basically to build your professional background for you to follow up or for you to enter the working world. You must know that for the concerning internships, we do have an internship department that are there to assist and guide you throughout the whole internship process, from the start, from looking for internships to how to prepare for interviews, to how to update your CV, your cover letter, till the end. If you have a problem during your internship, they're totally there and dedicated for the internship. So concerning the admission requirements, so basically to enter the Bachelor in Management program, must be under 26 years old. If you're 26, it passes. There's no like harsh limit. So you must have a high school degree, so a non-French high school degree. You must have the B2 English level if you choose to follow your courses in English, or the B2 French level if you choose to follow your courses in French. So when I say B2 English level, we always compare it to the 6.0 IELTS test or an equivalent. So I'm going to explain a bit of the admission process from our side, which goes for all the programs that I'm going to follow up with. So the Bachelor in Management program, the Master in Management program, and the MSCs. So normally you start by applying. So our applications are going to start next week. So we open our admission process. So you're going to create your application account. You're going to fill in the normal information like your first name, last name, country, all of these informations. Then you're going to be able to provide the documents. So build your admission file, which requires your CV, your cover letter, your transcript of grades, your diploma if you have one, and the language test, so either English or French. This is going to be studied by the board to do a pre-selection. So basically the pre-selection is to see if you can continue with the admission process. Once you've been accepted in the pre-selection, you're going to receive an interview. So as you can see the point on the online interview, and this interview is basically by yourself. There's no one in front of you, and you have a series of questions. So you have questions regarding the program, regarding your motivation and your personality. So those are the focus on the questions. And once you validated this interview, it's going to be studied by the board as well. And then all of that follows up with a deposit payment, signing the contract, and receiving your enrollment letter that will help you for your visa process. So that's the document that's going to help for the visa process. And this admission process goes for all programs. So now I'm going to present to you the Master in Management program. So the Master in Management program is available after a bachelor degree. So basically, if you do the Master in Management with us, you're going to be able to apply for the Master in Management program. Or if there's any one of you guys that have already a bachelor degree, a 3-year bachelor degree, or an equivalent, this is concerned for you. So the Master in Management program starts in September. So all of our intakes are in September. Unfortunately, we don't have intakes in January, like some other universities. So the Master in Management program can go to 2 to 3 years. It's a full-time program. You can decide to do normally the first year of the Master in Management program, if you're coming from abroad, is mandatory in full-time, but then your second year can be in part-time. So working at the same time as following the second year of the Master in Management program. So at the end of this Master in Management program, you'll obtain 120 credits. You can either decide to do it in English or in French. So at the end of the Master in Management program, you'll have your master's degree, and it's also recognized by the state. And the price is 28,600 euros for the 2 to 3 years Master in Management program. So it's 14,300 euros per year. So the Master in Management, during the Master in Management program, you're gonna see, we're gonna see the structure in the upcoming slide. But then once again, you're gonna have the multi-campus experience because you can change from campuses throughout your semesters. The first semester is mandatory in Toulouse, but then from the second semester, you're gonna be able to choose another campus if you would like to. So from Paris to Barcelona to Casablanca. When we say highly customizable, it's during the second year. So you're gonna have to choose a specialization, and we have over 100 specializations that you can choose from, which we will see on the other slides. So highly applied is basically you're gonna be during your second year, which is your specialization year, you're gonna have workshops, you're gonna have interviews with professionals, you're gonna have consultant projects. So consultant projects are very appreciated by our students because a company is gonna come to the class, tell the problems, and you're gonna basically have to work in groups and find solutions. So these solutions, you're gonna have to work in groups from different specializations and find a solution in a teamwork. And it's basically putting you already in the effort of the company and the workplace, so you know how it works in advance. Concerning employability, so 97% of our students that are in the master, that graduate from the Master in Management program, find a job within 6 months. And 62% find a job before graduation. When we say before graduation, it can be networking is really important. in TBS, because as I explained earlier, we have the alumni, we also have your professors that are most of the time professionals that work in a company and that come to teach, as well as during the consultant projects, there are companies that come and you can socialize and network and keep those contacts for internships as well as for potential jobs. And regarding the experienced faculties, as I said on the first slide, is industry practitioners, so professionals from the working world that come to teach to our students. So concerning the academic structure, so the first year of the Master in Management program, so the first trimester is Fundamentals of Management. So it's kind of like the Bachelor in Management. It's the introduction to the Master in Management program. So you're gonna see all the courses, marketing, communication, all the common courses. Then on the second semester, you're gonna start with internalization courses, as well as start doing consultant projects. And that's when I say you can change from switch campuses, so from the Barcelona to the Casablanca or Paris campus. So at the end of the first year of Master in Management program, you'll have to do a 3-month internship. And once again, the internship department are there for you and to guide you. The second year is the specialization year. So you have 100 specializations that you can choose from aerospace to banking and finance, to international business, to even luxury fashion. And you also have specializations with partner universities. You must know that at the end of your Master in Management program, you'll obtain a double degree diploma. So you'll have the Master in Management program as well as the specialization program, which is very interesting in the job market. So you're gonna have a specialization diploma in the specialty that you choose in. For example, if you choose fashion and luxury, you'll have your Master in Management degree as well as a fashion luxury degree. So that is very interesting. And once again, you can switch campuses, so one of our campuses or a partner university, if you decide to do a double degree with one of our partner universities. So at the end of the second year, you'll have a 6-month internship once again, and that internship is mandatory. So during, when I say 2 to 3 years, this is the presentation for 2 years. In between these 2 years, there can be an optional gap year. An optional gap year is a year for you, but it also has some requirements. So basically, if you decide to do a gap year, you're either gonna decide to do an internship. So it's either one whole internship of a year or 2 internships, so each one for 6 months. You can either do missions for associations, or you can also start your own company if you wish to, and also go to a partner university. So that will, if you apply, will give you more information about the partner university during the optional gap year. So that's why it says to 2 to 3 years if you decide to take the optional gap year. So concerning the admission requirements, it's the same thing as the Bachelor in Management program regarding the admission process. However, you must be less than 28 years old. You must have a 3-year bachelor degree, so already 180 credits. So obviously a non-French degree because it's for our international students. The B2 English level, so there it changes. It's up to 6.5 IELTS or equivalent. If you do not have the possibility to have your IELTS test or your TOEIC, TOEFL test, we do have a TBS English test, which is called Easy Speaking. And basically, when you apply and you inform us that you do not have an IELTS score or a TOEIC, TOEFL score, you can pass this English test and you're going to be able to receive the results, and we're going to be able to take it in consideration for the application. And concerning the online interview, it's the same as well. So now we can move on to our MSc, so our Master of Science program. So our Master of Science program are 1-year program, and it's basically a whole specialization program. So there's no common base. It's basically for people that want to get specialized in a sector. So once again, September, the intake is in September this next year, so September 2022. It's a 1-year program. It's a full-time there's no part-time, there's only full-time. At the end of the MSc program, you'll receive 90 ECTS, so 90 credits. There are only options in English. We do have some bilingual options, so in French and in English. So it's most of the time 50% in English, 50% in French. So the Master of Science is a degree. It's not recognized by the state, this one, but it is, some of our specializations do have the CGE label. So the CGE label, it's a label that's going to allow you to apply for an APS visa that will allow you to stay in France for up to a year in order to look for a job, etc. So our specializations go from 17,000 to 18,500 euros. So concerning the structure of the Master of Science, so basically it's an intense program because it's all about the specialization. But normally you're supposed to have a background in the specialization in order to do it. So from September to March, let's say, you're gonna be doing your professional expertise. So it's the specialization in total. In parallel, you're going to have soft skill certificate. So you must know that when you obtain your Master of Science degree, you'll also obtain a soft skills certificate. You may ask yourself, what's a soft skills certificate? Well, basically it's you're going to have courses that are going to help you to be a better leader, to help you to be the best manager, to learn you how to deal with difficulties in a company, and just how to how to be a good manager in the workplace. And if you have the Masters of Science degree and you also have the soft skills certificate, this can be very well in the job market as well. You're going to also have consulting missions, which I mentioned in a Master in Management degree. So it's companies come in with a problem and you're going to have to find a solution. So it's practical. And then at the end of your MSc, you're going to have a master thesis, which is mandatory, but you're going to be able to do an internship. It's optional. This time it's not mandatory. We always recommend it to build more professional background, but it is not mandatory. And as I mentioned, for the Master in Management as well, you're going to have the career starter guidance throughout all of this in order to help you looking for a job afterwards. And we also have in our website, we have job offers and all of this for at the end of your Masters of Science, at the end of each of our programs. So these are the options, the MSc options. So the ones with the stars are the CGE certified programs. So as you can see, we have in different fields. So we have in aerospace with the MSc Aerospace Management. We have big data and artificial intelligence and business analytics, international business. You also have the campus right next to them. You have the marketing and management communication, banking and international finance, and supply chain and lean management. So we really have a variety of specializations for our MSc programs. So I'm gonna leave that there a bit for you guys to take pictures if you want, or even to look at it in detail. So concerning the admission requirements is the same thing as the previous one. So for the admission process, to apply, so you need a 4 years bachelor degree, so a non-French bachelor degree or an equivalent. So you must have 240 credits to apply. Concerning the English test, it's like the Master in Management program, so 6.5 IELTS or an equivalent. And for the French, since there are some specialties, some MSCs that are bilingual, so French and English, you must have a B2 level. So it's either a DELF or a TCF. And for the admission process, for the online interview, as I explained for the Bachelor in Management, it's the same procedure for all 3 programs. So concerning, we don't have scholarships, but we do have discounts. So concerning discounts, as you may see on the screen, here are some discounts. So the early bird discount, which is our admission process opens in October, so next week. the beginning of October. So from October till December, you can benefit from the early bird discount. So it's basically 10%. So that's for the Master in Management program. So it's 10% on the first year of tuition fees, only the first year, not the whole 28,600 euros. Then you have the discounts for students coming from TBS partner universities and excellent scholarship as well. If you have a GMAT, so those, you may know that when you apply, how does the discount work? When you apply for one of our programs, your application is automatically taken in consideration for any potential discounts. So basically, when the board receives your interview, your application form, they're gonna decide, okay, we're accepting this student, and we're also giving him, for example, the early bird discount. So basically, when the admission team sends you the acceptance letter, the acceptance email, you'll know if you received a discount or not. So those are for the Master in Management program. Then for the Master of Science program, so these are the two, and the discount is placed on the total tuition fees because the MSCs are only 1 year. So you have we have the early bird discount as well as the TBS partner university discount. So I'm gonna leave it there for you guys so you can have a look at it in detail. So I thank you all for having me, for listening to me, and for listening to me present all of our programs here in the international admission process. So I'm gonna see your questions. I think Jade is coming back so we can read them together.
Thank you, Carla. It's very detailed regarding the most popular, like most our target audience are concerned about, which is the bachelor program,
Yeah.
the MIM MSc. So
Mm.
let's start with some question regarding the MIM program.
All
So
right.
you mentioned there be like internship. Will there
Yeah.
be apprenticeship as well required?
We have apprenticeship, but it's gonna be for our international students, is basically available in the second year of the Master in Management program because international students must, it's regulation, they must be in France for 1 year before starting part-time.
Right.
So they're gonna have to do their first year of Master in Management program in full-time, and then they're gonna be able to do their second year if they wish and they would like to in part-time.
You mentioned the discount, the tuition discount for
Yeah,
people who might have GRE or GMAT score.
yeah.
In that way, in other words, like GRE or GMAT score is not necessary when they applying for any program.
When they apply, it's not necessary. It's always recommended, but it's not necessary. So if they have it, they can upload it in their application form and it's going to be taken in consideration, especially for that, for example, 15% discount. And then it's the board that decides regarding the discounts, but it's not a mandatory element, the GMAT. It is very highly recommended.
I see. But is there any quota each year for the discount tuition?
We do have quotas, but those the boards are directly that decide. So we are not really informed about the quotas in exact. So since they're the ones that apply the discounts and that choose which student is gonna benefit from the early bird, for example, discount, they're the ones that keep in track with the quota. It's just that once they apply their application, we always say their application are automatically taken into consideration because since their application is studied, they're gonna decide.
Since we talk about the application,
Mm.
is there any like estimated waiting period or waiting length for the result?
We always count 3 to 5 days per step. So the first step is basically receiving the interview link. So it's knowing if you passed the pre-selection. So if you receive the interview, it can take up to 3 to 5 days, the time that we study the application form and send the interview link. Then 3 to 5 days for the interview to be evaluated by the board as well as they deciding if the student is accepted. and then 3 to 5 days following up, like for the payment deposit, as well as for the signature of the contract. And the last step is the enrollment letter. So once they receive their enrollment letter, once they receive their acceptance email, they're officially in TBS.
I see. Very good. So you probably take
So in total, it's like 25 days.
yeah, probably a month.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So let's move on to MSc program.
Yeah.
You mentioned there's the thesis is actually mandatory, and the internship is optional. Am I correct?
Yeah. The internship is optional. Yes.
Okay. Sure.
We always recommend it if students want to build their professional background here in France, but it's not optional since they already have like their master thesis, which is the mandatory and most focused part.
Yeah. Sure. So even they choose, like they prefer to do internship, they still have to complete their thesis.
Yeah, they still have to complete their master thesis. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So like MC program are actually most specialized subjects.
Yeah.
So it's is there any like MBA program with TBS? And what would you suggest to those who might just graduate, have just like less than 2 years of working experience? Would you suggest them to choose MSc?
There are MBA programs, but basically you have to pass either through the Master in Management program or through the MSc in order to apply for the MBA.
Right.
And since the MBA are mostly like once you've been here in France, so basically once you've completed your Master in Management program and you have like your French diploma, you're going to be able to apply for the MBA program. The MSc is more for people that already have like a bachelor degree in banking, for example, in banking and finance, and that really want to come here and study in France, as well as continue with their specialization. They're like, okay, I have my bachelor degree in this field, and I want to go study in France, but I still want to keep in that field and specialize myself even more. So that's why we offer the MSc, which is 1-year program. So it's 1 year specialization. So you have your specialization in France, and at the end, you're still in the field that you wanted.
I see. So on top of what you just described and explained, if a student doesn't have any like relevant background, like business, so say like business and management background, back in bachelor, back in college, you would suggest them to choose starting from MIM.
Yes, I would suggest them to start with MIM because MIM at the beginning, you're going to have the introduction of the MIM. So basically, you're going to see all the common courses. So I think it's better for if they don't know exactly yet what field do they want to choose, or they're not quite sure, or they want to reorientate themselves, they can choose the MIM, which is better for them. So their first year is going to be like the common base, and then the second year they're going to be able to specialize. So that's, I think, the best option for them.
So for MS program, applicants must have a relevant background with the bachelor degree.
Yeah, for some, yeah. For example, for the big data and marketing, as well as the artificial and intelligence, there must be a background like on artificial data and all of that. For the marketing management and communication, for example, we do have like a more variety of different students from different backgrounds, because it's like more general marketing management and communication. So we're doing 3 of those fields, but those still are fields that are general.
Let's move on to some of the requirements for application.
Yeah.
As a student, since you might require like English, like language test, certificate, or some level of French or English ability, what about those students who actually study in the international student in the previous diploma? For example, they are from an international high school, or they are from a high school that is English speaking countries. Do they have to submit like language test certificate?
No, that was something I forgot to mention. So if a student is a native English speaker or has completed his previous studies in English, he do not has to provide an English test. And the same thing for French.
Okay, sure.
So yeah, that was the important detail that I forgot to mention.
Sure. Thank you so much like there be some student there from like just I say from international school, which means their application require the same document that you just mentioned in the presentation. Am I correct? Except for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
language. Okay.
yeah, exactly.
Sure. There are some programs that require like internships during their programs. Shall they do the internship only in France or only in Europe, or can they choose probably go back to their home country to do an internship?
That is normally they can do internships in the international, they can do internships in France and they can also do internships abroad. So both of them are accepted. But that's also when you reach in the bachelor management program, they'll see with the internship department if there's any inquiries or any boundaries to respect. But normally they can do it abroad and in France.
Okay, sure.
So there's no limit within the place.
Okay, do we still have any questions from the audience so far? You just mentioned remember you mentioned the alumni network. Is the school probably holding or hosting any like alumni event or some networking event for uh, the current student to probably hear some experience from the alumni or not?
These with last year and this year, it's been a bit complicated because of COVID. We couldn't have like or events or organizations or anything, but we do. I know that before COVID and everything, we did plan events about alumni coming and speaking about their experience in the bachelor management program, in the master in management program. We also have they're gonna have a lot of events within subjects, like for example, career charter. I know that they create events for students and also like present to them alumni that have created their own company, that have become directors of some companies. So they really do have interventions and events to network and socialize with those alumni. And we also have a platform, and they're going to have a platform in their TBS account that is going to basically give them a list of alumni with the country where they're from, what program did they do, where are they working now, and that's like our database of alumni that they're going to be able to have their email address and like, hey, I'm from the same country as you. Like, what was your experience with the bachelor management program? How was it? What did you do afterwards? So that's very important for us to keep that network alumni.
Like for example, if any like group or probably on social media, like any student in with TBS might join to get such like relevant information about.
On social media, maybe if they contact them through the alumni, they can have their social media, but it's we don't really
You don't have their own.
divulge their social media. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's go back to the application.
Yeah.
So there are different documents like an applicant should submit.
Mm.
Is it the only channel to submit to apply as through TBS websites?
Yeah, it's for apply platform. Yeah, that's the
Only
only platform.
apply. And what will be the priority when the school is evaluating those applications?
We some people may think it's only the educational background, but honestly, at TBS, we obviously take in consideration the academics result, but we also want to see the motivation in the student, a student that's motivated, a student that is authentic and that he really wants to study in TBS and have this experience in TBS. So we take that in consideration as well. He can prove it throughout his cover letter, his interview, just see the enthusiasm in that person that they really want to work in TBS and how the program is going to help him to reach his goals or to do what the projects that he has or her has.
So, which means that's gonna be a holistic evaluation for overall submissions of
Yeah,
applicants.
exactly. So we take in consideration the academic results, but as well as the person,
I see. They've
mm,
some of them
their
don't.
motivation.
Yeah, true.
Mm.
And those will be also reviewed during the interview process. Am I
Yes, exactly.
perfect? Okay, I think that's pretty much what we have for today's questions. At the very end,
Yeah.
Carla, do you have any like email address or
Yes.
some of the contact information for our audience?
Yeah, so if you guys have any further questions, you can contact us in international.admissions@tbs-education.fr. So I repeat, international.admissions@tbs-education.fr. So they can ask any question regarding admissions. We are very reactive, and admission process are opening next week for the September intake to 2022.
Almost there.
Yeah, almost there. Almost there.
Alright. You should start preparing now. Sorry.
Yeah,
I would just like come up with the last questions, which
yeah.
I think we just elaborated a little bit earlier, but let's probably explain more. So some of them may be confused between the MS program and MI programs, even for the STEM major. Would
Yeah.
you like to like elaborate more for our students?
So basically, the differences between the Master Management Program and the MSc program. So the Master Management Program is a 2-year program. So you're gonna basically have an introduction to the Master in Management Program, and in the second year, you're gonna have a specialization. Maybe it's the part of the specialization process element that's confusing. So with the Master in Management Program, you do have an introduction before starting the specialization. With the MSc program, you have the specialization directly
Right.
for certain, like for example, you're gonna have to need a background in one of the fields for certain MSCs. So for, as we explained, for the banking and finance, you must have a little background on finance in order to apply for that one, because if not, it's not gonna have any introduction, it's gonna be straight to the specialization. Whereas, for example, the MSc Marketing and Management Communication, that is less of requirements because it's a more wide field.
Sure. Do you
I don't
think
know if
like
oh,
if an applicant has 3 to 5 years of working experience, what would you suggest them? Or it's actually based on what they have worked at, like which industry they are working at and which diploma they are holding with their bachelor.
if they have working experience and they want to like specialize themselves in France, I would suggest a MSc, a Masters of Science program, because it's the specialization. If they had worked in that field already, it's better to specialize in the field. It's mostly their goal is to specialize. And if they're really like, for example, working in a field, they have working experience in this field and are like, okay, maybe I want to change fields, I would consider the Master in Management program in order to have the common basis of the Master in Management program and the specialization coming afterwards.
Okay, perfect. All right. As we get a last one solved. Thank you so much for joining us, Carla.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for listening. And we hope to see some of you guys in TBS for
Of
next year's intake.
course, probably. We will see you soon.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.
Mm.
Have a good one.